Welcome.
I think we're streaming now. So welcome.
Welcome.
What is up? That's right. I usually do like a weird, awkward sound check just to make sure I'm live and everything.
Right. I just got a notice on my telephone here.
So well, that's good and happy and promising.
All right, let's see if we have audio. Audio is always good.
Check. Echo.
We have audio.
And now it's echoing. Great.
Huzzah.
Fan-freaking-tastic. Awesome.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome. If you are a regular over here at the 333 show, you will know that this is a familiar face. Lorene has arrived in LA for an extended weekend. And just like visit and do stuff. What brings you to LA?
Well, I'm glad you asked. So this weekend was the Taxi Road Rally, and one of the cool things about Taxi is that when you sign up for Taxi, you get a free conference. I feel like it's part of what you're paying for when you get the membership, but it is a good deal, as conferences like this are much more expensive than the membership to Taxi. And,
well, so. Becca, like, what is Taxi? Why would anybody want to sign up for it? And isn't a taxi like a vehicle that you drive around?
Isn't a vehicle? And how did they get Taxi.com? That is the thing. That's the OG URL there. So.
Hey, Eric, how you doing?
Hi, good to see you. Eric, how are you? Yeah. So Taxi is independent A&R company. A&R is artists and repertoire. So meaning they kind of are talent scouts in a weird way to say it, but they're looking for music for sometimes it's libraries, sometimes it's labels, sometimes it's direct to music supervisors that have specific projects. So they have these listings up for their members, and it's a big old list of briefs that you can make music for and pitch to. They do cost like $5 a pitch, and that is pretty much as a gatekeeping and administration fee. It's to keep people from pitching their entire catalog that is probably unrelated to what the pitch actually is.
Yeah, right. Christmas music, here's my death metal song. It's so good that you're just going to want to place it in your Christmas movie.
Death metal Christmas sounds good, though.
Actually, yeah. There might be.
There might be a specific need
for that. Yeah. But anyway. So, you flew in from New Orleans.
Yes, the other LA.
What was it, Tuesday? Wednesday? Already. Time is wibbly wobbly right now.
These conferences really sort of pack so much in. Yeah, earlier this week. How about that?
Earlier this week. And we've been hanging out here in LA and doing a couple of LAE things, but mostly just focusing on the content. Hey, Andre!
Yay! Hey, Andre! Nice to see you!
Yeah.
We're here in 3D.
I could poke her.
Poke. We're in 3 dimensions. You know what else is fun? So one of the LA things that's very, very special is there's a company called Funko, which I'm sure you've seen their dolls. When we passed by on the street where we were walking on, I had to see the stars, the walkway.
Yeah, the stars. The Walk of Fame.
Thank you, the Walk of Fame. And on there is the Funko factory, which they make these little dolls, these pop dolls of everything. And they have an option to make your own doll. So we made our own little pop dolls. They're so cute. Look at us.
Hold yours up a little closer.
Yeah.
Let's
turn
it a little bit.
I've got, of course, my co-producer Gary, the cat, there. And they didn't have headphones, which I was very disappointed. But they did have a guitar. I had to specially request the guitar. I'm not known for my guitar playing, but it is one of the instruments that I play. And blue glasses, which I sometimes wear and sometimes don't, but whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just adorable, and I'm a prototype. It's like official now.
Yeah.
So it wasn't before.
We're now collector's items.
Yeah. It's really cute. It's
and
really cute.
I kind of made so I actually have
So
some glasses that are coming up that are red and pink. So I made myself like, oh, you can't really see it.
It's a little blurry.
Open it. I'm gonna be like super the worst collector ever.
Lost all its value.
Lost all of its value. Because I took it out of the box, I will easily put it back in. But yeah, it's like the superhero version of me. Super book nerd. It's got a cape. Look at that.
Yeah, I'm jealous of your cape.
Yeah,
that was a
and
good
of
choice.
course the blue hair. I need to get my hair redone. But
yeah, you need to re-blue yourself.
Like the
so cute.
Yeah. So that was a pleasant surprise. We didn't anticipate like actually going in, but and we thought these things were gonna be like, I don't know, $50 or $60. It's only $25.
Yeah, that's really good. Very reasonable for such a unique thing. And I guess we can't like order these online and they make custom order them. Right now you can only do it in the store, so
that's what
I had to do that while I was here.
I understand. So anyway, yeah. So you'll be seeing our little pop figures on our live streams occasionally. Yeah. Okay. So before we move on to like the content of like the taxi stuff, what other exciting things were we up to in LA? What else?
Went to Venice Beach, which I'd never like. First of all, I haven't really spent a lot of time in California, and I have never been to LA before this trip. So LA is huge and is many cities in one, and has just so much that anything that you're into is here pretty much.
Yeah. Totally.
So even though there were parts that felt like, oh, this is a little touristy, it still felt like, yeah, but people are still doing their lives. Not everything stops. It's not like a theme park. Like some parts of New Orleans, like the French Quarter is a little bit theme parky, just a little bit.
Yeah.
People are still doing their lives there. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't feel like the Walk of Fame is just kind of weirdly not that big a deal.
No, it's just, it's a sidewalk, and you use a sidewalk, right? Like, it's still very functional.
Just like walking over the Beatles.
Yeah, our parking lot was right next to John Lennon's star.
That was nice.
It's pretty cool. So we hit Venice Beach.
I like Venice Beach. Yeah, very cool.
Yeah,
really cool.
Now there was a section of Venice Beach that was very much carnival. It was very much like, because I think there was literally a jazz festival going on or something like that. But
that was fun.
Well, yeah, that was fun. We saw a big fat yacht.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did, and that's going to be possibly our band name. I was like, is that our band name now?
Marie was laughing about it for the rest of the fucking night. I mean, there was other things. I'm not kidding. Bless the other phrase.
Yeah, no.
With its presence, but Big Fat Yacht is, I think what our album is.
Might have to be, right? Just like riding on the coattails of all those NFT, like yacht club apes.
Oh yeah,
stuff.
Yacht club, yeah, all that stuff.
And every time I think I know what NFTs are and what they do and how to go about them, I don't. I
do, and I also just I think it's too complicated right now for the average artist to be like in that world for it to make sense. And it also does, I was telling you earlier, like it does. It's a little bit of a cocky thing where it's like, yes, of course I'm going to be a collector's item in the future.
Right.
But that's why we have physical collector's items.
That's right.
That will definitely appreciate in value over time. This is for sure. This is like invest in gold or this pop.
Little spiral pop.
The little spiral pop.
Get them while they're hot.
Either one, you can't go.
No, you're right. But they are, it's about collectibles items.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet. So.
Okay, so you're over here. You kind had a couch futon that had your name on it.
Yes, thank you so much.
And then we went to this little conference thing. So
little conference thing.
Tell me more about the little conference thing.
The little conference thing was so. It surprised me with how incredibly diverse it was. Actually, I really loved seeing all the different ages and genders there. Skin colors, like it's so much more diverse than I thought it would be. I still think that, every organization needs to keep an eye on that it remains so, and that it grows in diversity too. But I was pleasantly surprised for an organization. The reason they have that OG URL is because they have been around since the 90s, the early 90s, when the internet was young, and so they were able to get taxi.com and have it nothing to do with automobiles. It was pretty brilliant. So it's been around for a long time. That conference is pretty much an institution now. And for a lot of people, I guess it's like a family reunion.
Oh, yeah.
I was seeing
okay, cool.
Kind of a lot of that sort of family feel. Panelists were wonderful and also fairly diverse. I would have liked to see a little bit more diversity there.
Yeah.
But when I was there, I was pretty happy. Yeah.
What were some of the standout sessions for you?
Cheryl Englehart's session blew my mind. I've been following her. So what isn't she? She's an online marketer. She's a Grammy winning new age artist.
Something like that.
Or nominated.
Yeah.
Yeah, new age artist. She has written pieces for choirs, she did social justice choir.
Cool.
Kind of recently.
Yeah, cool.
She has all kinds of helpful marketing tools. She made an app called Releaseify that helps you plan out your album release / single release. I haven't even looked at it. I downloaded it immediately.
I actually used it for my last
release. Did you? What do you have a paragraph review?
I gave her my more detailed feedback.
Good.
But for the most part, it was the useful tool. It was just like, I just need a checklist, and there's like 50,000 of them, and all of them have different specialties. But
yeah.
Especially now when you're releasing it, it's like, oh, and then you register it with your PRO, and then you register it with Sound Exchange, and then you register it with the MLC, and then you register, like, all of these different things to take care of. It was just like, I just need a list. Because I was already on Cheryl's email list. I'd heard about it, so I gave it a spin for when I released Mathematics. And it was helpful, but there were a couple of technical, like, you had to hit the complete button before you go on to the next task, which in theory sounds like a good thing. You're only focusing on one thing, but in practicality, I just needed to see the whole list so that I could prioritize for myself what I needed to actually do. Because the app does take you step by step, even through like recording and planning and booking out the studio X amount of time in advance and things like that. And I'm like, I already have the song done, so I just need to fast forward. So it's like,
okay,
kind of going. So I gave her that feedback, and she's like, we're working on it.
Oh, good. Okay.
So,
well, nice.
Yeah, but it's still pretty handy, especially for all those bits and pieces about like the MLC and do you copyright or not, and with each task also has like, here's some backup resources or a course if you really need to go on a deep dive. So if you know nothing about the MLC, for example, it's like, well, click this button, watch this video, and learn all you need to know about the MLC.
Yeah.
So,
which so many people know nothing about the MLC, and I know a bit about the MLC, not enough.
Yeah. So, part of this, actually, I should probably mention. I don't think I announced this, but one of my recent little gigs, I wear a lot of hats, and the most recent hat is I work with an organization called the Songwriters of North America. And they are an advocacy group. So they send their people out to DC to advocate for better pay for songwriters and better, just like their whole MO is songwriters first. And so they're pushing our agenda in DC and literally forcing a lot of these streaming platforms to pay us better rates.
Amazing.
So they've had quite a fight and also quite a few wins. And they, plus some other organizations, were part of a coalition that passed what's called the Music Modernization Act. And I don't want to get too geeky because I can totally get super geeky.
I mean, it's worth getting geeky about.
Yeah, but this is super important, and I'm just like broadcasting it to any of you who are musicians out there who might think, oh my gosh, that's all the admin stuff. I'm not really good at admin and stuff. I want to get you money, and the government has mandated these streaming platforms to get you money, and you might already be owed money and not even know it.
You probably are.
Yes. So you're probably in the system somewhere. Long story short, every songwriter, every producer, every musician who's ever put anything out on any of the platforms, Spotify, even sometimes even YouTube, whatever it is, go to the MLC. Is it com or org? Let me just MLC.com. It is a government mandated organization that is put in place to pay you the money that you've already earned and deserved and will continue to earn. And this is off of mechanicals, if you want to get really specific. But the whole issue with MLC, I promised I wouldn't get nerdy, so I'm gonna just go sign up. Even if you're owed $3 or whatever, sign up anyway, because there is a giant fuck ton of money, millions and millions and millions of dollars, that will be distributed to anybody who is signed up. It might not even be your $3, but they're going to have a pot of money that they can't find the owners to. And they're going to distribute it to people who are in the MLC.
Right.
And you know who is in the MLC is a lot of the majors.
Right.
So that giant pot of money will end up in Ariana Grande's pocket, who doesn't need that. Yeah. You need that. Yeah. You deserve it, and the law says, here's what happens when this pot of money is not found. You get a slice of it, but you have to sign up for the MLC.
Yeah.
And that's really recently, 2018.
Less than that. I think MLC is pretty new.
It's pretty new. So I'm a part of one of the organizations that helped make that happen, and they have worked so fucking hard to make sure that happens. There was just some issues, it wasn't just Spotify only pays us fractions of a penny. It's okay, but then what about all of these royalties and this streaming revenue that accrues and nobody knows where to find them? You need to make yourself found.
Yeah.
By going to the MLC, THEMLC.com, and register all of your songs.
Right. The TLDR, go sign up for the MLC.
The government wants to pay you money for being a musician. Let them.
That's really excellent.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
okay. Anyway, back to Taxi.
Right. Taxi. Cheryl Engelhardt.
We're talking about Cheryl Engelhardt. So let's go back to what
really enjoyed her talk. I've been on her email list for quite some time as well. And she always put out good stuff. She was one of the first. She was the first person who made me realize that an email list, as old-fashioned as it may seem, is one of the most important assets that you can develop.
Oh, yeah.
Because you own it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a big light bulb. So I've kind of been on her mailing list on and off throughout the years. But this was a totally like a now for something completely different kind of approach with her class, where she was talking about the phases of creativity and the phases of being a creative person and a freelancer at that. So it was really cool. She's like, it's like a spiral, and then there's 5 phases that she's sort of uncovered with all of this. And the first phase is like the learning and determining. So it's sort of a receptive phase, what you want to do, and just sort of daydreaming phase. And then there's the second phase is the creativity and creating phase, where you are doing the thing. You are in it. You are making the stuff. And then third phase is the admin phase, which is like the dreaded admin phase. It doesn't have to be dreaded, though, because, it's like when it's time for that, sometimes it can be really satisfying. Bust out the old spreadsheet and
register your song in the MLC.
Right, exactly.
That's the admin phase.
That is the admin phase. And it can feel really good when you're in the mood for it. And it's not just about moods either. I mean, she called them phases. It's like you move through them like the moon. And so that's the third phase, admin. And then fourth phase is the pitching and the promoting. Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like I do get in that phase. It's felt so sporadic, and it was refreshing. So refreshing for me to feel like, oh, this is a phase that it's okay that I don't want to do this all the time. Because there's that hustle and grind. Yeah. That's the only way to make it in this business. That's the only way to make it as an artist. We get all this, we get inundated with this messaging that we can only do it right if we are constantly selling ourselves. So it was very refreshing to feel like, okay, that is a part of the process, but it's not everything. So I was really refreshed by that. And then the fifth one is to monetize and maintain. Note that that's different from the pitching and the promoting. The monetizing and maintaining what you've built your business. You've built a business because, Chris Bradley says musicians are, maybe it might have been Adam Ivy, both of them. They say musicians are the only businesses who don't know that they are businesses. So yes, as a musician, I am a business, and so it was cool to see it laid out like that. Yeah, I loved her panel. Her panel. She had great things to say too about. I mean, and she's like the perfect amount of woo woo, and like it's not too far for me to roll my eyes. Right, like I'm with you. Although you can go pretty far with me before I roll my eyes. I want to say that. Okay. But I do roll my eyes at like magic frequencies, because like that's not a thing, folks.
All frequencies are magical.
All frequencies are magical, and do you realize how small of an actual of the pie chart of the universe, the cosmos, our window into the auditory frequency spectrum is so laughably small. So laughably small. We do not have the best hearing. Elephants can hear things that are just like way subsonics, and that's part of their communication. I think even emus too. I was at the zoo and heard an emu, and I was like, that was not what I expected. And my husband said it sounded like a chainsaw about to start up. Like I can't even do it. It's just like this low subsonic. Anyway. So many other animals have such better hearing than we do. Not even better, but just different part of the spectrum. So anyway, that is a tangent. I don't believe in magic frequencies. I like how you said they're all magic. They're all magic. Especially when you put them together as music. Yeah. That's the real magic in this world. Yeah. So I'm going to focus on that.
Totally.
So Cheryl Engelhardt, I think her website is In the Key of Success.
Yes.
.com. And she's a real deal. She's good people. Also the real deal, but has a funny vibe, is Tiamo Di Vittori. Like,
oh yeah.
Love the guy. I think he's doing the Lord's work in saying, hey, there's other things besides the music industry, and you have these other options, you have these other opportunities that could be really good if you open yourself up to them. Yeah. And so he's refreshing, but like he's a middle-aged white dude. Like we were joking yesterday. If I had half the confidence of a middle-aged white man, I'd be all set. So I'm aspiring towards that, I guess.
Yeah. And I'll say, because I attended Tiamo's panel and years ago, this is probably like 2017 or so. He actually came to one of our meetups up in the Bay Area in San Francisco, and gave his little spiel. And it really planted a seed. So he had some really cool ideas that were kind of like, oh, I hadn't even thought about that, and something that I'm actually going to be pursuing is this concept, like he'll call it a keynote concert, but it's a concept of I positioning myself as a speaker, as like a storyteller. I bring that more life into a conference or things like that, and developing a business that way. Because a musician, when they're hired for a conference, they'll get paid a couple hundred. A keynote speaker will get paid thousands, sometimes like, tens of thousands.
Yeah. So different.
So
for the same skill set.
And so it's kind of ridiculous. So I thought that was a really smart idea that I'm actually actively developing and pursuing, and I have like my whole landing page, and actually the act of just putting it up made me realize I actually have more speaking experience than I even thought.
That's right. That's right.
And I was like, all right, I can say this and not be lying.
Marketing.
That's nice. Because it's like, yes, I did speak at Pandora headquarters. That's pretty cool, right? I was part of a presentation of somebody else's music project, but I was still at Pandora headquarters and speaking, so I could say I spoke at Pandora. I'm not lying, and it is music related, and it actually is somewhat related.
That's awesome.
Where I want to go. Anyway, so I gotta say the same thing at Patreon headquarters and some other. That was the benefit of living in the Bay Area, and now I'm in the LA area. So now I'm like, ooh, where can I schmooze and put on my little checklist if I was here. Anyway, so but Tiamo, I'll go back to Tiamo. He's one of those people that's like, you have such good ideas, and I'm glad you're sharing them. And also, you are such a salesman.
He's a salesman for sure.
Slick, shiny salesman who will sell you on the dreams. And I hope Tiamo's not listening.
I know, Tiamo, if you're watching this, we love you. If you haven't gotten that vibe yet, like I was totally starstruck. I was 100% starstruck. I'd only seen him on webinars.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I was actually registering. I feel bad for the very nice person who was registering me, but it was like telling me important things that I had to know about my registration, where I had to go next, and then I was like, but that's Tiamo DiVittore. What did you just say? I'm sorry. And he's like, fuck, I need to start this spiel over again. So yeah, I have loads of respect for Tiamo, and I just love what he does. So
and also, if you can just back this,
we're just poking a little fun.
Just down the salesman-y things. Just that would be nice. And I speak of this as a marketing person. Like, I'm totally fine with you selling your stuff, you marketing your stuff. But anyway, so I thought that was really really good, and I thought I hope a lot of people got some ideas, and that kind of dovetails into another theme that I kind of picked up at the Taxi Road Rally, which was Taxi in particular, like it does, they've got listings, and you can pitch your music, and they can forward it on, or they can give it back, and a lot of those listings are for film, TV, commercial, that kind of thing. And a lot of the music industry in general, like the at least the practitioners or the musicians or the people who are in it, are now really going into this sync licensing world. This let's put our music to video. That's a symptom of the music industry itself is very hard to make money. It's very hard, and that's why SONA, the Songwriters of North America, that's why they even exist in the first place, is because this transition to the online sphere from physical album sales has been very hard on people who want to do this as a career. Not to say the music industry was ever really like easy peasy, but it dovetails into a theme of let's look for adjacent things that are adjacent to the industry itself.
Mm-hmm.
So you may not be making as much money on like the songwriting if you have a cut with a major label artist and it happens to be an album cut. It doesn't make the same kind of money as it did maybe even 10, 15 years ago. But there's still opportunities. It's just you have to kind of think outside of the music industry specifically. So, for example, touring. We all had to think outside of the music industry when touring stopped, when all the concerts stopped. And we had to come up with different things. So, with Tiamo's class, he was talking about, yes, there is something that is a stage, and it already is full of a lot of people, and you don't have to go out and market yourself to death in order to get 2 people in a seat. You know, there's go to where the people are. So it's very adjacent and it's very similar, but it's still a different industry. It's events and conferences and not the music industry itself. Hello, Cosmonoise. Hi. Good to see you.
Hello.
We are just chatting about the fact that you're in 3D and I'm in 3D. We're in the same room here in Los Angeles. And so we were talking about the Taxi Road Rally that brought you to town.
Yeah. Taxi. So, and this is my first year in Taxi, by the way.
Oh, okay, cool. Cool.
And it's nice that they have this free conference, but that also includes 2 tickets, so you can bring a guest. And I don't know when I asked you. It was months ago, though.
Some months ago.
But like, hey, would you, on just a whim, would like to go to this conference with me?
And I said yes, and I have a couch for you. She wanted to stay.
So that's how I came to be here, and it's super fun.
We should also talk to them about how our song was received.
Oh man!
So in your corner, if you've been following us, we wrote and produced this whole song from scratch on this here live show on the 333 show over a series of weeks and months.
Mm-hmm.
And we got it to a good final form, and we started to pitch it. Got some listens in some rooms. Like there's
very cool.
A couple of sessions where either people would draw a song out of a box or like first come first serve, and we got to play our songs for a couple of industry folks. So what was their reaction?
It was really exciting. Yeah, so there were 2 rooms. The first one we got to play just a little bit of it, and it was really, really sweet. I forget the leader of that class, and I don't have my. She was wonderful though. She talked about vocals for sync. That was a great class.
That was really interesting. Things I never thought about.
Really good. Cool. Yeah. I forget her name. Anyway, I hopped up and was like, me, listen to this. Because you have to be that way in the industry, I guess. You have to be listen to my thing. A little bit.
Not too much, but you do have to start it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, so, and when she turned it off, she's like, I didn't want to turn it off. But, we got to listen to other things. So that alone was a compliment. She didn't want to turn it off. Yeah. Something that Rob Wells, one of the mentors at the TSA, the Songwriting Academy, talks about. You always want to be thinking about the invisible hand that is moving towards the skip button on your track, and how to stop that. How to get that invisible hand to move away from the skip button and to keep listening. Mm-hmm. So to me, that said that she was very engaged with the track and liked it a lot. And from that class, several people approached us after and was like, that's a great track. I love that. Mm-hmm. So that was nice. And then we got in a larger panel in front of
Juliet Lyons, by the way.
That was Lyons.
Yeah, Juliet Lyons.
That was a great class.
That was a fun one.
Yeah, that was a really, really good class. That was on Friday, I think. It was
Yeah,
one of
that
the
was
first
Friday.
days.
And then yesterday, oh my god, it was already, wait, today's Monday?
Today's Monday.
Yesterday.
Yeah. Wacky.
Yeah.
Wacky. I know.
Wacky. It feels like a week ago, but it was just yesterday.
It's madness.
There's a theater full of people, and they were literally that morning on Sunday. I just was like, okay, this is super weird. It's been a while since I've burned a CD.
Right.
Super weird. But some of the panels was like, you need to bring a burned CD, and we're gonna draw a CD out of a box. And I'm like, okay. There were other ones where like taxi members can submit beforehand and it was all digital, but the ones there was a couple of them that are like, you need to bring a CD. No other. Okay. So, yeah. Oh, Chris Roberts, Fire Sisters. What is up? What is up?
So cute.
We are just shooting the shit about this conference that we were at yesterday here in Los Angeles. So, yeah, so we had we displayed they pulled our song out of the hat, and there's a room of about how many people?
I'm so bad at judging. Maybe like 3 dozen people?
40-ish, 50, something like that. Yeah, something like that. In a room full of these people, and they start playing the song, and I was actually kind of taken aback by how much they love the vocals. They were just like kind of drooling over themselves over the vocals.
They're great.
I always am surprised. I'm like, always, because I don't hear the same. I don't hear my own voice.
It's true. We always sound like an answering machine recording of ourselves.
Yeah, yeah. And so when I'll just like give some context. When I started doing the singer-songwriter thing, I actually just wanted to be the songwriter for other people. Hello, Kiana.
Oh,
nice
yay!
To see ya.
Hey, how's it going?
Yay!
Oh man, Kiana, you would have loved this conference.
Oh yeah.
Try to catch some of the stuff that's going on today. By the way, Taxi is playing. They're calling it Taxi Sequel, so it's still kind of technically going on. It's kind of like the Cyber Monday of the Taxi conference, so it's still happening. Do check them out because they're really good panels. Like they just had a great panel with a lawyer, an entertainment lawyer. That was just like, oh, it was really good.
So if you're musicians, then that is like go. It's a YouTube channel. It's all on our YouTube channel.
And it's free. Yeah, free education.
Taxi TV or something. Anyway, so just for some context, and I think this story helps people. I hope, because I keep telling it. But when I first started taking music seriously, I was very much like I'm gonna write songs for other people kind of artist. I'm kind of an introvert, and I don't love performing live really. Sort of, but it's not my jam. Funny.
Anyway, it's literally not your jam.
But it just it requires me to be like fashionable, and fuck that. I don't wear makeup. All these stuff and
interesting.
Whatever. So, but the other thing when I started out in 2014 was I was really self-conscious about my voice. I did not like it at all, and I actually I was talking with the producer, and I was like, hey, I want to do this, but I also want to make a demo so I could pitch it to other artists. And he goes, are you out of your mind? Your voice is great. And then I was like, yeah, you're trying to sell me something. Of course you're gonna you want me to hire you as my producer. That's why you're telling me this. So I just ended up, recording it, and then I had half a mind to release it based off of his encouragement. But then afterwards, it wasn't until I got 3 different pieces of feedback from professionals in the music industry who said, your voice is great, or would have like a visceral reaction to my voice. I was like, maybe they're right. So when people say, oh my God, your voice is great, my my first instinct is like, what? But I will always say, like, thank you, because I believe them. Even if I don't hear it myself sometimes I hear it, but most of the time I'm like, okay, okay. I don't get it. But when we're in things like Taxi, or when I was in, it was like West Coast Songwriters, there was a competition. And I get professional ass people who know something about music to tell me there's something really cool about your voice, then I can believe them. So I hope that helps, because that it's so common for singers to be like, I don't like my voice, or be self-conscious about it. And I hear from a lot of different people like, you're self-conscious about your voice. I'm like, yeah. Yeah, why wouldn't I be?
Yeah. So on the panel of people who were on this listening panel, one of them was Mike Dupree, who has worked with many people, and is an artist himself. But Kendrick Lamar being one of the prominent artists he's worked with, and I really like Mike Dupree.
He's great. He's just
super really nice guy. Liked him. Super nice guy. I at the Taxi luncheon, I had asked him. We sat next to each other, and I asked him, like, how do you handle doing production for other people and doing your own artist project? Because that's something that I am juggling at the moment. And he said, you have your days for your project, and you schedule in those days for your project, and then the other days can be for other people. And even such simple advice, but it really like, it takes a certain amount of talking about self-belief. It takes a certain amount of self-belief for me to invest the time in my quote unquote little project. Like, why even denigrate it that way? Who knows what's going to blow up? You never know. Yeah. So to take the time to work on my projects, and respect my projects with that time. It was nice to hear from somebody who's doing it. Yeah. Who's doing it. Yeah. So anyway, Mike Dupree was like, that song is awesome, and you two should do a thing together and do you as well. Like, do your separate projects. Like, Little Spiral, you do Little Spiral. The Protostyle, you do the Protostyle. But then, like, do a thing where it's Little Spiral and the Protostyle, because that's going to be good. Yeah. And I want to hear more of that. And he wasn't the only one. The other one on the panel was James Koshin. Oh, James Koshin. Yeah. Who is a doll, and he's from Green Bay, Wisconsin. Midwest. Yeah. He was a doll, and he had that youth pastor energy. Yeah. Love him. Yeah, totally. And he was a youth pastor. Yes, indeed. It's like,
so we got the
you're so encouraging and positive, and
we have the smooth, sleek youth pastor, and we have the smooth, sleek salesman. That's so funny. And I'll take all the energy you can get. Right.
You're so positive and inspirational, and you have me in the palm of your hand. Yeah.
So the short answer. Okay, so Cosmo Noise, thanks for the tips on. I'll check that out at later. But thank you for the compliment. Chris said, I remember when I heard that you were both different versions from different time periods of albums of Chrissie Hynde. Oh, yeah. I think I remember that.
Yeah, that's cool. You. How funny.
Asking one question only. Do I have something to lose? That's slightly bigger.
We're embiggening the screen so we can
all
see
want to hear more collabs. Oh, thank you.
Oh, Kiana. See, there we go. Well, pretty soon we'll have our Big Fat Yacht.
Big Fat Yacht is the next album from Little Spiral in the Protostyle.
You heard it here first.
And we're gonna go. I think okay, here's my vision for the album cover.
I'm ready.
Okay, it is gonna be a big fat yacht on the ocean, not just like we'll
gotta go big, right?
We'll time it. I think there's like we'll find who is sailing on that day. And then we're gonna find a bodega, a beachside bodega that like sells beets, like the actual like
root vegetable.
Okay. And we're gonna be like sampling beets on the beach with a big fat yacht in the back. I've declared it so.
This is happening.
This is happening.
This is happening.
Thank you, Cosmo Noise. We'll see you later.
I am excited about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big Fat Yacht. I
Big
think
Fat
I love it. I'm encouraged. I had so much fun with that collaboration.
Yeah.
It was so freaking fun.
Yeah. I think,
yeah.
and also because like we're seeing all these people coming out from under the rock, saying hi.
Yeah.
I think that's another sign that we should probably do some more collabs.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, it's on the schedule. We'll make it happen. We'll see what we can do.
Yeah. I think I really like the format of, since you have this channel, and to keep yourself, and part of it is to keep yourself accountable to doing creative work. I love that. So inspired by that. You inspired me to have a live stream on Wednesdays.
Cool.
So I would just do things. Do a creative thing. Mm-hmm. Be in phase 2 of Cheryl Englehart's patented 5-phase spiral thing. Yeah. But yeah, to have creative time.
Yeah, I have found this particular live stream to be so helpful, because even if 0 people show up, and thank you all for showing up.
Yeah, thank you all.
And
so sweet.
Even if there was, I'm still here focused on music making. Whatever I do, whatever happens with this 333 live stream, it's focused on the actual art itself, the actual music itself. So I might be teaching about music, or piecing together, or editing something, or writing a song from scratch. It's all about like the actual art itself. And all the rest of my week, all the rest of my days is about the admin and the marketing and the other parts of that spiral. But that just helps me put it on the calendar. And because we're doing live stream, I can't like wander off into different tabs and get, chase all the shiny objects.
Right? It's so easy to do.
Yeah. But it's a whole lot more fun when friends are on it. It's a whole lot more fun when there's collabs going on. And especially those of you in the comments who, you'll sometimes say something and it ends up being a lyric, or sometimes you'll say something and it'll give us an interesting direction to follow. It's really fun. And it's also kind of more sustainable for me. Like, to just, okay, I know that I am going to be working on the song when it's either Monday or Friday at 3:30 to 3 p.m. Mm-hmm. And we're going to keep chipping away at it and moving it forward, no matter how many hats I'm wearing outside of those hours.
So refreshing. And that was one of Cheryl's thing, is like the nicest gift you can give yourself is just permission to be in the phase that you're in. Permission to be in the phase you're in. I feel like setting aside that creative time is giving yourself the permission. That's why it's like relaxing and fun. It's just like, how often do we get to feel like I'm exactly where I need to be, doing exactly the thing I need to do?
Yes.
I'd like to say I feel like that most of my days, but I sure don't. I'm often having this feeling like I need to do this and that for these reasons. It's this feeling of like I need to constantly be getting something. I need to be getting somewhere. I need to be getting something more. I need to be like getting somewhere. Like it's, but being able to just sit and enjoy being
exactly
where I am,
where you are, with no judgments or shooting yourself. That's really amazing. So what other takeaways did you have?
So many takeaways, but it's good to talk about them. But yeah, that it was awesome to get your name drawn out of the hat. Yeah, we were joking that song had at least 3 chances, because I was gonna play it if I gotten up. I didn't even know Suzanne was in that, because they were like stacked on top of each other. You literally couldn't go to everything that you wanted to go to because they were happening at the same time. Yeah. So I didn't even know Suzanne was in the room. And I was going to play that song if they hadn't, if they'd called me. Mm-hmm. And another friend of mine who had a ticket had to leave midway through, so he gave me his. He's like, now you have 2 chances. So I'm like, okay, it's going to happen.
We have 3 chances.
So we really have 3 chances.
Actually came up.
Yeah. So that was cool that we got to play that song. It's just so validating. It was so validating. One of it's a Nashville producer. Gosh, what is his name? He was really sweet. Nashville producer. He said, "Yep, no one's gonna argue that is broadcast quality production."
Yeah.
Yeah. were talking with another one of Lil Spiral's producers who was there.
Right. Okay.
Amazing.
So
yes.
another like coincidence out of coincidences, but it's not as coincidental. But anyway, so a number of years ago, I met Chris Ulmer through one of those online challenges, music online challenges, and decided to do a little collaboration. And that little collaboration over 3, probably 4 years, turned out to be my song Encore, which literally dropped last week.
That song's great.
Literally dropped last week. And if you've heard it, it's like, it's a big, over-the-top brass section. It feels like James Bond with the Norah Jones vocals over a hip-hop beat, if that makes any sense whatsoever. If it doesn't, go listen to it. If it does, go listen to it.
Yeah.
But, so... randomly, I'm in between one of the sessions and I'm going out to like go to the bathroom or something, and then I hear like a ruckus in the back, and there's just 2 people like, wait, hey. I thought, oh my god, is there like toilet paper sticking out? I thought somebody was like trying to flag me down because like.
Which, by the way, I would love for someone to flag me down if that were the case.
Yeah, that would have been like kindness. That would have been like,
just saying.
Yeah, but they were like, wait. And now, here's the thing. Chris Ulmer lives in the South. When we first met, he was in Atlanta. Now he's out of South Carolina. We have mostly been through email. I think we had exactly one Zoom call. I didn't remember his face at all. I don't know. Did not remember what he looked like.
3 years is a long time.
Yeah, and mostly exclusively email.
Yeah.
But I turned around and I was like, who's calling me? And I saw his name tag. I'm like, what? I just released your song. What? And he was there with his wife, and we just had a really great time, and got to catch up, and then we went out to like Denny's and shot the shit, and so yeah, totally random. Did not know he'd be there. I think he didn't know I was gonna be there, and just ran out in the hallway.
Yeah, this is some taxi magic.
Very cool. I don't think I would have recognized him either. But he said, "Oh, it was the blue hair."
There you go. It's good to have a signature, right?
A little bit of a signature.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Work on it. Anyway. Yeah, so that was fun. That was really, really cool.
So happy to meet him.
Yeah.
He's
really cool, nice guy.
Super
nice guy. Talented. And in fact, there might also be a future 333 with 3 of us.
Yes.
It'll be the quadruple 3.
It'll be amazing.
333. 3 people.
Yeah. But yeah, when we were talking about over critique, where I'm feeling this. I'm in a phase in my musical career right now where I've been making a lot of material and sending out a lot of material to the TSA mentors to critique, to come back with feedback, and also to Taxi, because that's something that makes Taxi special, is that when you pitch to one of these things, one of their briefs, is they will give you feedback whether they forward it or whether they return it back to you. And it's thought out feedback, and they're so sweet. Like, they don't judge. This is how they describe themselves. They don't judge. They are just quality control to see if the music that you sent them is like what was requested. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I was impressed. Anyway, so this idea of being over critique, where I know that I have things to work on, and I know my ears I needed to be pointed to those things. Mm-hmm. I need to be pointed to those things, or it's hard to learn. And if I'm just constantly getting critique, here's what you can do better, here's what you blah, 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 here's how you can improve, it's like, that's all helpful. Love all that. And, boy, sometimes you just need an attagirl of like, this was dope, way to go, that sounds like the real deal. So to hear them say, there's no question that this is broadcast quality. It just did my heart a lot of good. A lot of good.
Mm-hmm.
So
now they did have their critique.
They did.
Nothing too far out of the blue, because I mean people were still really raving about it and having a lot of fun. And then there was other people in the theater who were like, oh my god, that's my music. I love that kind of dance pop, electro pop kind of vibe. And we might actually do like a couple sessions on maybe have a 333 show where we're doing the little revisions. But I think
that's a great idea.
I don't think we need to. And this is also the other thing about like critique, like over critique. Everybody's got their own opinions,
right?
And so like one of the pieces of critique was like, oh, let's keep all the lyrics like positive facing.
Oh, right.
And we were talking about it in the car afterwards. It was like, for next time, we'll note that for next time. But I think our lyrics are pretty set. Like I wouldn't want to. Plus, the critique was more about the verses, and if our intent was to get them placed, usually sync agents and music supervisors don't use your verse lyrics anyway. It's really more about the chorus and the feel, or they'll have the verse lyrics so low that it doesn't matter. So I was just saying, I think for In Your Corner, I don't want to do a full rewrite. I think noted for next time that is an option to do. But for In Your Corner, it starts out you gave them your trust and they betrayed you in return. And then we're trying to get like, okay, we know that this sucks, but I support you and I'm going to be in your corner.
Right.
Which makes a whole lot of sense for especially for like radio and for artists like to cut that kind of song. But like in movies you want to have like a consistent theme and mood. But I think that's one piece of critique that like, okay, thank you, we're gonna not do that.
Yeah,
we're just gonna not
noted for next time.
Noted for next time. And that's another thing that's really hard with the critique paralysis. It does contribute to that. Like, is this good enough? Is this good enough? And then you'll never hit send.
Yeah.
It can contribute to that. So.
Yeah. Definitely. I have a lot of songs that I haven't wanted to come back to because the critique that I've gotten, like, and I know it's all good stuff. I know it's valuable, and that's part of the reason I'm like dragging my feet on it is because I know it can be better, and this is how. Okay, but yeah, I wonder how much of it do I just need to move on from that project if I'm feeling that way about it, or do I just need to be like it's good enough and I'm gonna move on, but I need to release that to the world anyway because I hear this kind of catch-22 where you want this thing to be the best it can be. It's your representative. It's gonna go out there in the world and be your voice, and you want it to be the best it can be, but also like progress, not perfection.
Right. There's that balance.
Get things out.
Well, I'll also say too that I mean I released a live album, and it was recorded on my Concerts for Introverts show, which has been always virtual. So I don't have like a live album as far as like audience clapping or anything, because that's not what Concerts for Introverts was about. It's about like the audience being able to not clap and just chill at home. But I recorded that album. I listened to it over and over again. I was nitpicking it, and the reason I wanted to release the live album was so that I can at least just get something out there that's representative of my songs, but did not have to be the perfection. Like if it's imperfect, I could be like, it's a live album, who cares? Or that's how it was. But I did do some editing and some cleanup and some things like that. But I just let it go, and I told myself, because I was in it. I was like, I don't want to hit publish. It's not like I'm pitchy in these places. Should I put auto-tune on it?
Yeah.
And I told myself, I gave myself permission, and this is the beauty about digital distribution. I can delete it later if I fucking hate it. If I really can't, if I really just like am embarrassed and don't want it out there, I'm giving myself permission to delete it.
I like that. Feeling cute, might delete later.
Yes.
Yeah. Nice.
Oh, Kiana, great question. Are you creating art or something to make money and fit in a box in a capitalist world? At the moment, I create art. That's my goal at the moment. Yeah,
that's a great question,
and
it was something that was brought up at the taxi rally, where the reason that we're all there at the taxi rally is that we want to monetize our works in some way or another. So it's already skewed. That crowd is skewed right there. But something that Michael Asko, who is the CEO of Taxi, and like really hands-on and involved, but he should not tell jokes. That is
he needs to stop.
You just need to stop.
Yeah.
But he's very involved in like trying to educate people about what there's, and he doesn't want to squash art. He wants you to be able to create that balance of when you know the rules, you can create art within those rules, and sometimes it makes the art better. But yeah,
sometimes it makes it more. I would say more accessible. Like for example, like I might come up with some weird stuff, and it might find its niche audience. But if I want to come up with something that I want millions of people to hear, there might be ways to make it more accessible beyond the niche. And I'm fine with niche, and I'm coming up against that question too, like exactly that, where within myself I'm kind of realizing I'm learning all these skills and tools to create if I want to. Like it's an option, and I can. For me, I make most of my money doing freelance digital marketing, and then I have this brand new part-time job, this shiny part-time job. That's how I make my money, and for me, I like to have the writing music for the marketplace. I want to have less pressure on it so I can have a little more freedom. A lot of people out there, and it's legit, if you want to dive in and spend 24 hours, writing songs to briefs, and being that we were talking about like the short order line cook of music, that is a legitimate skill, a legitimate job.
Oh, yeah.
And it might not be my job, but I am facing this question. Yeah, that one. I'm facing that question, and we were also talking about this. For me, I want my money easy and my art to be challenging. And balance and choice are the key. Yeah. So sometimes writing to know that you want this in front of millions of people, and knowing what the hurdles are to that, can actually make your songs like either structurally better, they can simplify things so it hits to emotional core faster. And there's a lot of benefits on trying things out for quote unquote the marketplace. Now, me, myself, and I just feel more called to be very protective of the art, that I want to be able to make something cool, whether or not it's gonna be in the marketplace, but still have some considerations. Like I think that for what we did, it's actually helpful to have some sort of boundaries and direction. To keep the lyrics a little more universal, for example. But I still release weird random shit like Mathematics, and the lyrics are very weird, and no,
the song structure is
unusual all over the place, and things like that. And that's also something I'm very interested in. I don't have to be one or the other. I can write a bunch of different songs.
That's it.
And something can come out, and I'm like, this could actually be really good for sync. Let me shape it up for that. And why not? Yeah. And then something else will come out, and like I think I was trying to do something on live stream, something else coming that was like really deeply personal. And I was trying to find the words, and I remember you were on there like, what about this? What about this? And I just kept trying to check in with the song. My whole thing is ask the song for permission, because I actually do believe each different song has its own like life, almost independent of me. Sometimes I'll bring it in. It is kind of like children, like, but not to a physical event. But sometimes you have a kid, and the kid is a wild child that goes off and does its own thing. sometimes you have a kid and they're like the perfect A student, and they're your favorite, and you don't want to say they're your favorite, but you do.
Yeah.
Every parent, if they have more than one child, they have a favorite. They just don't want to tell you. My parents had 6 kids, and everybody knows Liz is the favorite because all of their passwords are named after Liz. So we're just. I know you're not going to be able to guess them because they're like insider family jokes.
That's funny.
Anyway, so everybody hates Liz.
I'd say it'd make a great song title, but you're not supposed to use names in sync.
I'm gonna write it anyway and release it on my own, but I'm not gonna pitch it for sync. But yeah, that balance between art and commerce, I just have found my own niche in like, I want to be maybe not like overly protective, like. I do want to develop the craft of it, but I also don't want to rely on my music making. Again, this is just strictly for me, to pay the bills necessarily. And a lot of people will say like, oh, that means you have a plan B. No, my plan A is like music first, bills second. Like it still is, but I'm seeking ways so that the music can be sustainable. It can make money where it needs to make money, and it can be artistically challenging where it needs to be. And I have steady income supporting that outside of that, and that feels good for me. There are other people who are like, I want to do music all the time for everything. That's the only thing I ever want to do. I love that. Go do you. Mm-hmm. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, art and commerce. It's like it's
eternal struggle.
Huge, and it's so. It's so personal. It's so personal, and I think everybody coming into Taxi specifically has to reckon with it.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get those rejections and you have to know why. They talk a lot about how they have a ton of members who complain about getting rejection after rejection, but then they start to understand that the supervisors want what they want. And the story is, and this was something Adonis, I forget his last name, but he's one of the most prolific, has had literally millions of placements that started off through Taxi, but then he built his own relationships through those connections with the libraries themselves. So he has millions of placements, which is like mind-boggling to me. But he talked about how he still gets rejections because it's like a shoe store. If you walk into a shoe store and you say, I want a black sandal, women's size 9,
it comes out with a penny loafer, men's size 10.
And I'm like, that's not what I want. But then he's like, it's a beautiful penny loafer. Look at how wonderful this penny loafer is. Like, bye. I'm going to a different shoe store.
Yeah.
So music is like that. And it is a commodity there. That's a commodity.
I've heard it described in, as we're talking about like art and commerce. Like, if I'm doing my own artist album...
Hi, Andre! Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, nice to see you.
Chris, yes. So
Taxi, yes.
Taxi is... How do you explain it?
Okay.
Well, let me finish that thought, and then we can explain Taxi. When you are making music with the intention for it to be placed in film or TV or anything like that, it's no longer your art, it's their art that they're creating. So you are contributing to their art, and they do get a say. They can say yes or no, this fits my artistic vision. When I'm just releasing things on my own, it could fit my own artistic vision. When I'm pitching to other artists, that I'm still considering their artistic vision and how it fits into them. That's the nature of collaborative art. whether it's free or paid. This one happens to be paid, and so then it becomes more commerce.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. So Taxi,
beautifully said. Beautifully said. Taxi is an independent A&R company, so artists and repertoire. What does that mean? It means you pay a membership fee, and they give you opportunities to pitch to very specific projects, to very specific briefs of music libraries. Sometimes it's direct to music supervisors. Sometimes it's direct to labels. But Taxi has all these relationships with the libraries and labels, and so they've created a trusted relationship with these companies that can get them the music that they need for movies, for TV, for streaming shows, for video games, for random ass projects that you don't even know what they are, but they need music. Taxi makes that all available, and you are able to pitch to those opportunities for a $5 fee, and the $5 fee is a gatekeeping fee to keep you from sending them penny loafers when they need black sandals.
Yeah.
So that's what Taxi is in a nutshell, and they've been around for a very long time, creating these relationships with really top-notch libraries and supervisors. So they are the real deal, and the conference was awesome. I loved the conference.
I'm not a member of Taxi, but I have heard, even from people who like hate Taxi for reasons or another, they're like, oh, but the conference is actually pretty good. So, and it's free. Like, you can't argue with a free quality conference that brings people together, because this music industry is so much about relationships. Like, it's so much about like getting to know people, getting to know what they need, getting to whether it's what they need or if it's something that you need, like figuring out who in the community is available and willing to help.
Yeah, that was another takeaway. Not a surprise that it's all about the relationships that you make. So they really encourage you to just like make friends standing in line, say what brought you here, what kind of music do you do. It's man, it was nice to be out in public and to be able to be just the dork that I am and not have to avoid talking about production or avoid talking about music.
We were having a lovely dinner over Denny's, and the conversation turned to like saturation and limiters.
It's like, you can use saturators on your buses instead of a limiter?
That's
what is
nuts.
it? What?
That's nuts. I had never heard it before, but he's like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, like, I think his wife was like totally checked out.
Yeah.
But anyway,
like, so are my console emulators like saturators then? Is that why it makes it sound that way? So yeah, it was great to be like, I don't have to ask them about their insurance company.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. That's how I know I'm adult.
It can all be done online from anywhere in the world. I think so.
Taxi? Taxi is international. Yeah, so they have members all over the world. Yes.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's worth. I think it's worth checking out. I got my own like, because I've decided I'm not really going to be like in the I don't know this is not going to be my main source of income. I had decided to not join, but if it is something that's really appealing to you, like. That's a great place to start. What I would suggest is Taxi and Briefs are a really great place to start and to get into the practice and habit of looking at what people are looking for, and then grabbing a brief that really calls to you and start building a library and get that practice in. I was having lunch with Tracy and Vance Marino. Did we have their book?
I'll be right back.
Oh, goodness. Really, the nicest couple ever. Had great success with Taxi in particular, but also with just getting placements. There it is.
So
there
good.
You go. I'm being a shill for them.
They deserve it.
They deserve it. They did this amazing book. Literally came out earlier this year. So up to date, everything. I'm still yet to read it, but what I have read was the appendixes which are so good.
Glossaries, y'all.
The glossaries. They've got sample master recording split agreements.
Oh, I didn't even know that was.
Oh my gosh, you need to really look at that. It's not
this
just
is required
the
reading.
It's like here's a list of genres, and then here's a list of
I just got chills.
Scenes.
That just gave me chills.
Lyric themes and additional sync music styles. So like they have it categorized as like adventure, belonging, betrayal, celebration. So these are all like moods and scenes that you can write to. You can write entire like EPs based off, I'm gonna do an action adventure EP, you know.
Wow.
That kind of thing. Like the appendix alone, totally worth the price of admission. But then they go over like everything. Anyway,
they got pictures and bullet points.
They wrote this over the pandemic.
Incredible.
And
I'm so excited.
And it's quite a robust book. So I went out to lunch with this couple, and they have had, I think they told me that they had like 3,000 pieces of music in different libraries and things like that. A lot of them are instrumental. A lot of them are cues.
That's the bread and butter, by the way.
That's the bread and butter. And I was listening to them, and I again, like, absolutely amazing stuff. You could tell that they're having fun with whatever they're doing. And you could tell, like, they kind of lit up because, like, we had a Caribbean cue the other day, and we just got to bring out some of the old instruments that we didn't get to play, and we just had so much fun with it. So you could tell it's that kind of work that really, like, lights them up. And for me, because I'm so heavy on the lyrics, and I'm so heavy on, like, the lyricist, I just know that I'm the type of artist that really needs to craft the lyrics in order for my artistic itch to be scratched. So, like, they're crazy successful at what they do. They've written a book. They give, like, you know, classes and things like that. Nicest couple ever. But it did hit home for me that, like, I need to be able to itch the scratch that's in me, because that itch is their scratch. And again, it depends on where you feel called.
That's it.
That's it. Where do you feel called? Go do that and figure out how to do it sustainably. Sometimes that means you got to monetize it, and sometimes that means it's going to be a hobby for a while. However that calls to you, there's no judgment. Like, if there's anything, like, I think somebody, I don't remember who it was, but some famous composer or another was like 9-to-5 insurance dude, and then would go home and compose, and then won all sorts of awards and got all this stuff. Like, you just do what you got to do to survive and thrive in this world. You know?
Yeah. That was beautiful. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I got more words.
That was really good. You're so good with the making of the words.
And that's why I'm like, I'm very lyrics focused. I realize how, like, I think it's actually weird that I'm one of the few, like, in the songwriting world, when people talk about their process, like, I watched, like, a Ryan Tedder interview or something like that. I was talking about his process, and he's like, I just, like, come up with melodies, and then I figure out how to fit some words in, and sometimes the words don't make sense, but I'm like, I come up with words, and I try and fit the melodies around the words, and it turns out, like, 9 out of 10 professional songwriters do it the melody first, or, like, the music first, and I'm the opposite. So, like, I'm very word-centric. I started out as a writer. I was in journalism forever. I started as a poet, and still kind of do the poetry thing.
Yeah.
So again, that's just like what my own thing is. And I
love that you know. I love that you know what your musical itch is. I love that you know that. And it's like, that makes me want to figure out, like, all right, where am I musically itchy? Because I get excitement from different parts of the process. Like, I do love songwriting. I mean, when we were writing together, I was loving the songwriting process. And then, like, I'm a total nerd about the production side of things. And that's, like, endless fun rabbit holes for me to, dive into.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, it could be like, Vince and Tracy, their musical itch is still like really all over the place. They're
Love
still
that.
exploring and making all this stuff, and
That's
I'm
so
really
cool.
enjoying that process. Oh, that's super
That seems
awesome.
like me.
Yeah.
I'm just musically itchy all over.
Musically itchy. I'm tweeting that right now. Oh, that's right. Twitter's canceled. I'm Instagramming that right now. Because it sounds like finding a successful way to navigate dualism. So instead of choosing one or the other, have both. Mm-hmm.
I love that. I've never heard of the ism that is dualism.
Okay, so dualism and non-dualism are like this whole philosophical strand that I'm totally geeky about. So,
whoa.
I don't know if you meant it in the philosophical way, but dualism is, if you're talking philosophical woo-woo kind of stuff, dualism is the belief that there's a material world and there's a spiritual world. Non-dualism is it's all there isn't like a separation. Yeah, I'm more on the non-dualism side, but I think it's a lot of fun.
Wow,
it's a lot of fun to talk about.
There's a navigation certainly between commerce and art. I think that's been there a very long time. Probably since caveman days, where there was one caveman who made these cool pictures on his cave, and then the other cavemen were like, "Hey, do that to my cave too." And I will make these baskets for you if you do that, because I'm no good at those picture things that you're making.
Yeah.
So I feel, and like, did he change then? Did that caveman be like, well, I want you to paint some buffalo on mine?
Possibly.
And he's like, I don't do buffalo. I just do hands. That's
a very good question.
I feel like the minute an exchange gets involved,
I think there is like, I can picture a caveman who's like, I just do doodles, and then one that's like, oh, I can make a shape of a buffalo. I don't know how to do a shape of a person's face. I don't know. We're just.
Art and commerce, though. It's always been around.
Sometimes people are specialized, and sometimes people are jack of all trades.
Right.
Kiara. Yep, I sometimes do melodies, sometimes lyrics, and musically itchy. Yeah, there is space for musically itchy, and I also do like lyrics and melody and chords and random riffs on the piano that make zero sense to anybody but me. I tried to actually notate, like, do sheet music for mathematics. I don't think I'm gonna finish.
Wow.
It's ridiculous what I did.
Well,
I don't even know what I did. Like, I had to slow it down because, like, okay, like it's a right. It's a fast, weird thing. And I tried to fucking notate it, and I was like, I don't even know what notes I play. It just is a big blur.
I love it. It's very Rachmaninoff.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
It really is. I like it. But yeah, along with that, one of the huge takeaways that is continuing to just blow my mind is Fett. No first name, no last name, just Fett. He's a mixing guru, if you will, who's been with Taxi for at least 9 years, like as a mentor. And I went to a class of his that was very technical about production. And at the heart of it, he said, the whole, why do we mix? What are we accomplishing with mixing? What's the goal of mixing? The goal of mixing is to preserve the emotional connection.
That's
boom. I love that so much because there's no way to get it right or wrong when you put it in that context. Yeah. Well, you can get it wrong. You can if you kill the vibe.
If you kill the vibe. Like if that guitar is too loud and it's distracting to the rest of the emotional content, or if something else is like takes you away or pulls you out of that trance, that makes so much sense. That's really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's refreshing that it doesn't have to be right. There's not like a right way to do it. There's not like you have to do your kicks first and then it's not about that.
Yeah, most of that is like suggestions or like in my experience this is how I do it,
right,
rather than this is the subjective measurement of a good mix. Because I still struggle with that whole process. I really do. It's like when somebody listens to a song, or like when somebody on the panel say, "Oh, this is mixed really well," I have no fucking idea what that means. It's like, is it mixed really well according to the song in my head? Like this, that's how I judge my mixes. Is like, does it fit the song in my head?
Have you seen those memes where it's like the nailed it memes?
Oh yeah.
It's like the song in my head. It's like this meme of like a full symphony orchestra with the conductor, and it's like in Carnegie Hall, and it's all beautiful, and then it's like in the song in my dawn, it's like a little toy piano.
Yeah.
Ding ding. So there's I feel like that just takes doing.
Yeah.
It just takes doing over and over. And learning, but not too much learning, because then you get paralyzed. Like, I'm doing it all wrong, I should just stop. But I don't know. Part of the reason my YouTube channel has been so helpful for me is because I just keep doing it even though I'm making mistakes. Yeah. And y'all don't seem to mind.
Yeah.
I'm quite the opposite. I hope to be encouraging with that, because I'm going to keep making mistakes my whole life long. Yeah. And I'm going to keep making music my whole life long. Yeah. And learning production is never, I'm never going to stop learning.
No. Okay, I think we should catch up with the chat here. Boom. This is the main. Oh yeah, when we were talking about Caveman Collabs, this is the making an animated YouTube video. Kiana, let's do it.
What is it?
An animated YouTube video of our where the cavemen
about art and
then Chris is saying, so yes to money and yes to art, yin yang, good bad and good, blend that gives a wider scope for opportunity perhaps, and you also have good cream for that itch.
Thank you. I should bottle that up.
Yeah. I saw that. You have the musical itch?
I have a cream for you.
Cream for you.
But I used to make face cream. Did you know this?
No.
I used to make soap and I used to make face cream.
What?
Yeah.
What? Nah, that's me.
That was one of the many things I hustled and thought, this is a fun hobby. I'm going to put all my resources into it, try to monetize it.
Monetize the shit out of this until it kills itself.
Yes.
Yeah.
That happened to me over and over until production. And it's just like, oh, I'm going to do this now.
Yeah. That's very cool. And then music is a little like bouncing food flavors for me, and cook is
absolutely. Cooking is a great metaphor, and that goes for mixing too. I mean, I would say that a good mix is like a good meal. It's satisfying and it like hits those spots.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Well, any other takeaways before we wrap it up?
I think that was a big one. Is that we mix to preserve the emotional connection. So big, and I will be talking about that on my live streams probably forevermore. Especially if I get caught in rabbit holes where it's like, all right, is this actually working towards preserving the emotional quality of this song or of this instrumental? If not, back away slowly. Hands up. Yeah.
I'm just looking over the agenda to be like, what other takeaways do I remember? A little bit of the takeaway is just like with the conference itself, especially as me, a little introvert. Conferences are actually helpful because you have something to talk about all the time. And it's like, hey, did you attend that panel? What'd you think? Or hey, what brings you here? And people are there to talk. Like, it's a preconceived notion that if you go to a conference, you're there to meet people.
Yeah.
Whereas in other situations, it's like to make small talk. But you're not making small talk when you're talking about music.
Right.
And then I think for me, one of the big takeaways, and also just in general, networking as an introvert, is letting myself not, if I'm at a saturation point, like I'm giving myself permission to, I don't need to attend the panel right now. I can go to the bar and strike up a conversation, or I can when
this is golden. I'm excited.
What I did yesterday.
Yes. Please give these good people the travel tip. Little Spiral's travel tips.
My travel tip. Okay, so we had a pretty. What did we do? Oh yeah, we went to Venice Beach yesterday.
It was an epic day.
It was quite an eventful day. Really cool stuff. And then like street karaoke.
We'll talk about that
in a second. But we went to Venice Beach for lunch. We had a good wander about. Really lovely. Came back a little late. Sorry. And I was just not energized. I was just like trying to stay awake. I was in a panel and they were talking. It was just sounding like Charlie Brown's teacher. And I just needed to lay down. And I don't have a hotel room at the hotel. I live in LA, so I just need to lay down for like 15, 20 minutes. And I was like, where can I do this where I'm like inconspicuous? That isn't like, I'm going to take a nap on this random sofa right next to the bar.
Where is it socially acceptable for me to go lay down in public?
Yeah, exactly. And then I was like, well, I could do like I actually was thinking about like an empty conference room or something. And I was just like, I don't want to lay on the floor. So, travel tip. Hotel pool. They all have those deck chairs. Those deck chairs. And it happened to be good enough weather where it was fine. I had a light sweater. But it was good enough weather. And I just like, that's it. All right. I'm taking a 15-minute nap on this pool deck chair.
So smart.
Yeah.
Travel tip.
That's travel tip. Okay.
Karaoke on the street.
Oh yeah. And then all right. This is not conference related. Let
me segue. Let me tie it in.
Okay. All right.
Because you were just talking about how it was nice that it's preconceived. Like it's going in up front. It's going to be easier to talk to people because you know what they're there for. You get to talk about things in common right off. What happens to me is like the sort of vacation effect or conference effect where suddenly I leave the conference room and I can talk to anybody about anything. And like I can go out into the world and talk to strangers about things and feel bright and funny when I do it. So we were going to get some food after the conference and
I'm still bitter.
I know. We wanted ramen.
We really wanted ramen. I wanted to take a Silver Lake Ramen in Santa Monica. The phone app said they closed at 9 p.m.
Lies.
We were there at 8:40, and they were already closed.
Yep.
Anyway, still bitter, but go on.
I didn't even know that there were ramen restaurants. Did you know that? I didn't. I eat ramen.
Mm-hmm.
I am alive because of ramen and cabbage. So I was excited to actually go to a restaurant and be like, how did they do their ramen? It's different from how I do my ramen at home.
It's $15. That's how it's different. That
is very different.
We'll get DoorDash ramen maybe tonight or something. We'll get you up on the fancy ramen. It's an LA experience, especially Silver Lake Ramen, which is my favorite. Anyway,
nice.
All right. I'm letting go of my bitterness. Anyway.
So, walking to the ramen place, we noticed a god-awful racket on the street. We're like, what is happening? Somebody's horribly drunk and just screaming? Why? And then we get a little closer and we see there's a dude screaming on the street, in the middle of the street.
He's going, pour some sugar on me.
That's perfect. Don't hurt yourself.
Oh, God.
There was a man doing karaoke on the street. And we walked right on by because we're like, well, I don't want what he's selling, or that looks fun, but I don't want to tip him. So, and it was like, it was like a street vendor karaoke. So it was like set up with the portable PA system and a monitor. So you tell him your song and then, so lovely, what I found out later, it confirmed, was a lovely Korean man named John. Sing on Street is his YouTube channel. Go check it out.
I was just going to look that up.
Sing on Street.
3 words. YouTube channel. Yeah. You'll probably find video of her.
And her. And he wasn't doing it for tips. He wasn't doing it for money. He was doing it to grow his YouTube channel, which, of course, I was just like, oh, okay. I'm here for this. And so I'm like, I love karaoke anyway. Like, I don't drink and get rowdy, so I don't really go to bars much. But so I was like, this is my moment.
It was like 9 o'clock. It felt like almost 11 o'clock. It was kind of like deserted. The whole 3rd Street Promenade was really empty. But there was this, one dude with the karaoke setup that was mobile, and then the drunk guy eventually left.
Yeah. We were figuring out we were drying our tears over the closed ramen shop.
I'm still not
walking
drying my
back.
tears.
I knew he was Korean. I had suspected he was Korean because, as you may know if you follow me at all, I'm starting to learn Korean and I'm obsessed with K-dramas. He waved us over like this, and in Korean that means come here, like this. And it's like in the U.S. that would mean like go away, right?
Go away, little pest.
Right, but like this, and like I knew he was saying come here, and so when we came up to him later, I asked him like, "Are you Korean? Because I saw you doing the Korean come here," and he was like, yeah. So I got all excited, and I got so excited I lost all ability to not remember any of the Korean that I knew except for the Korean that I knew from K-dramas. Which is like very inappropriate to speak to strangers with. So at the end of everything, like I sang a version of Britney Spears' Toxic. And of Joan Jett, I Love Rock and Roll, always a crowd pleaser. And he really liked it. We exchanged Instagrams, and he thanked me, and I said Kumao, and that means thank you, like something you say to like your dearest friend when you're like thanking them for something that they did for you, like really heartfelt, like, Kumao.
And then he just lit up.
His face was like, oh, Kumao, oh, I love you.
He professed his love for Lorraine.
He said, oh, I love you.
And then he's like, I'm single. And she was like, I'm not. Sorry.
It was so funny, but of course, he said I love you, so I was like joking around, and I was like 사랑해, which means I love you. And again, I only know this. I don't know this from Duolingo. I know this from K-dramas, because that's like the giveaway moment where they've even been seeing each other for a while. Maybe they've even gotten to that point where they are not speaking formally to each other anymore. Maybe they've even gotten so far as to call each other by their first names.
Woo!
And then, like the last season, in the last episode, they say "사랑해," and that means I love you. And here I am speaking to Sing on Street karaoke man John,
who I believe you've subscribed from your very own YouTube channel. He might have subscribed back and might be actually watching right now.
Hi, John. We had such a good time. I'm still married, though. So that was a blast. That was a blast.
Really
that same kind of energy of like,
really
fun. I can speak to people, and I think I can do this networking thing. But I feel like networking's like a little bit of a dirty word to me. I want to just see it as like making friends and making connections, feeling out the vibe of people that I could work with, and who might enjoy working with me.
Like John.
Like John of Sing on Street.
You could probably ship him your stems. And in your corner.
Yeah, right.
We're gonna do a karaoke version of In Your Corner. We're gonna do it.
Oh, we should.
Yeah, that's easy to do. Right? We just put it up on YouTube and we'll do it. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Let's see. what other takeaways before we wrap up here?
Oh my goodness.
You've been.
There were so many things. I have this notebook that's. I didn't think I would fill it, but.
Yeah, you were writing it.
Yeah. Undate your songs. Undate your songs.
Oh, I want to hear your takeaways.
Let's talk about this because so our youth pastor producer friend James Koshin had a panel called Undate Your Songs, and this was something I've been accused isn't the right word. I've been told that my shit sounds dated, and I know this because I'm a 90s kid. And so I like the 90s sounds. And so that's what I tend to gravitate towards. And there's nothing wrong with that because it is coming back around and all that, blah, 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 blah. But I knew I need to know some modernization techniques. And I thought it was going to be all about production and things you can do and like what, you get these sound libraries or else you're not cool.
You're a failure.
You're a failure. But production was the last thing he talked about. And shockingly, the first thing he talked about was a different meaning of the word undate your songs, which made me think maybe I'm in the wrong room. And that was to like undate, as in like, do not date your songs. Break up with your songs. Break up with them.
Do not take them out to ramen.
Don't take them.
Do street karaoke.
Don't do street karaoke with them because you need to be detached. You need to be detached from it for it to be made accessible to be. I mean, and it's again that art and commerce thing.
Yeah. But yeah, in this context, what he's saying, and I also think it's like. Even the retro styles that are out right now, they have some sort of modern flair to them, right? They have some sort of like, maybe it's the drum production or a certain like reverb sound that still sounds modern. And I'm thinking of Blinded by the Lights and specifically because that's super 80s retro and stuff. That still sounds fresh somehow. But yeah, tell me more. Tell me more about undating your songs.
So undate your songs starting with like let them go. Don't hold them so tight. Don't hold them so preciously that you can't change them. That the first idea is the one that came from God, and so that's what you have to go with. But he talked about how often, if you allow yourself to be free with it, often the fourth or fifth idea down is the one that really is the killer idea that takes you to a new place. And so he said, treat your first idea kind of like an elevator where you step in, but you don't have to stay in the elevator. You're going to go to the 10th floor. You can say, thank you, elevator, for being an elevator that got me there, but I'm not going to stay around. I love that as a concept.
That's very cool.
Yeah. So that was a great idea. He likes to play a game with when he has he's in a room full of writers. He has a concept that they are interested in, and then they play the game of what else can it be? What else can it be? How else can we say this? What's another interesting take on this? And he's called it WeSib. He gave it an acronym. He's cool like that. But yeah, like what else could it be? Yeah, and it kind of takes the pressure off that idea too, to just like open it up. So I loved that, and so he talked about the format of the song is one of the things that you can do to like modernize something. The format right off the bat. Get rid of intros. This is a shocker for me. And for Sync, they don't want to hear your intro. They don't want to hear it.
That's very interesting. I guess if they wanted some intro, they'll just use the instrumental.
Bingo.
Interesting.
Bingo. They want, that's the don't bore us, get to the chorus thing. It's the ram right in with lyrics. Don't bother with the intro. Now, there's a place for intro, and we were talking about this yesterday, about how live performance, intro is important. It gives your live audience like a chance to settle into the next vibe of what's happening, to sort of prepare them to like, we're going on a journey together, and here's what this is. And but for Sync, they just want to hear it. And I guess lyrics right now are like the hot thing. People want to listen to lyrics. People want to listen to lyrics, and they want to be immersed in human voice because that's the most connective sound. And what are we doing when we're putting music in all these media, when we're syncing it to all these media, all these video games and TV show? We are supporting the emotion, and emotion is king. Mm-hmm. So the voice is like the king of the emotional transport, like straight to somebody's heart. You use a voice.
Yeah, interesting.
So that the format of the song of just going and like keep your pre-chorus. This was a shocker for me too. Keep your pre-choruses like short or no pre-chorus. It's like what? But the tension, but the build. Yeah, exactly. Because we're TSA trained, so they love a pre-chorus, they love a bridge, they love a little bit of an intro, but not too much of an intro. Like on that, they agree, and they want it to be kind of like 30 seconds or less. But here's James saying like, no, cut that shit. You don't need the intro at all. Chris Roberts says method acting similar to the exploration of soul, where everyone serves the player of the song. Yep. It becomes a healing modality in sharing through the art that gives universal understanding and love. See, and that's the highest goal, right? Of we talk about accessibility, but it's connectivity. That's what that is. And I love the way you said that of it. It becomes a healing modality. Like it becomes possible to do mass healings. I'm serious. Like there's no one magic frequency. It's all magic frequencies because music is magic. So yes, but to modernize, get right to it. The other big one for that was stay in first person. Do not write in third person. Don't say, she was blah blah blah. It's like no, I, you, and that is all. That's the thing that's gonna pull somebody in and make them live in the song. If it's a third person, it pulls them out, and it makes it sound dated.
That's super interesting.
Yeah, avoiding perfect rhymes. This is another big one. To get the like loose rhymes, get the weird rhymes, then the ones that aren't like perfectly in meter either.
That kind of makes sense on a couple of different levels because like I'm in marketing and a lot of these programs are like, don't price your things $100, price them $97. Because 100 is a little too perfect, but like something that's like 97 is like a little more. I don't know. It's like it almost increases trust, which isn't that interesting? That reminds me of that. But like
what a cool connection.
So if it's too perfect, I can understand if it's too perfect of a rhyme. It's like that's a little cold and calculated. But if it's like a little more loose, it's like, oh, you're speaking from the heart.
Yes. I love that.
Very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. And like not chasing the rhyme, but chase the emotion. Chase the emotion right only.
There. Right there.
What? Where is that? Where is it?
Key on right there. When you write a song, you are writing an emotion.
Right. Exactly. And that was another thing of like, have the payoff line and have everything support that. If there's like something in your song that doesn't support the payoff line, what the heart of the song is about, revise it so it does. Yeah. No filler. You can't have filler. Very much a show and don't tell, but without being nitty gritty specific. Like not saying names, not saying specific geographical locations or specific brands. Somebody had a song that was like, I'm sailing on a boat of Hennessy or whatever, and it's like, well, that automatically disqualifies you from sync because you said Hennessy.
It says Hennessy.
But yeah, this idea of just show me, don't tell me. But what is it? It was like a song about being, drinking over a lost love, right? So it's like you kind of get that idea. It's like I'm sailing on a boat of Hennessy.
Sailing the Hennessy Sea.
Hennessy Sea. I don't remember exactly what the line is, but you want to like show things, and this is something that Robin Fredericks talked about in her talk, which was absolutely wonderful. And her book is great as well. Robin Fredericks, Shortcuts to Songwriting for Film and TV, also amazing. Anything she does is fantastic. She's just like rapid fire, amazing gold nuggets of information. There's a ton of Taxi TVs talking with her, doing song analysis. Anyway, but but that she's also about that, of that show and don't tell. And like, don't say I'm so sad. Say I haven't gotten out of bed. I haven't opened the curtain. Like there's dust on the curtains. Kind of have a feeling of what's the effect of the emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is the side effect of you feeling sad? Like, write about that.
Interesting.
Yeah, because that's a more, it connects it to the human experience a little bit more, and that makes it modern. Yes, and mind you, none of this is about production, right? Nothing I've talked about is production, really.
Not
Song
really.
structure,
a little bit, but not
lyric
really.
content.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, not narrating. Yep. And don't use formal language. Be conversational. That's a big one. Where he talked about, I don't know about you, but like when I sit down to write lyrics, suddenly I'm writing the King's English or like whatever. And you want it to be conversational. If what your lyric is, if you were to tell your lyric to a friend just like in a conversation, if they looked at you funny, like, what? Are you okay? Like, that's not, try again, because make it conversational. Make it something that you would just say. And say it like, and next one with making it modern is also, like, sing it like you would say it.
Like you would say it. Mm-hmm.
And this is one that I learned back when I was learning from Renee Grant Williams, who's a vocal coach who taught Miley Cyrus and the Dixie Chicks, among other people. Garth Brooks, I think, was in her roster, if you will. I don't know, of people she's taught too, where it's all about singing it like you would say it. Like you wouldn't say, I'm so sad. You would say, I'm so sad. Like you wouldn't even have the heart to like give it the full Broadway treatment. Like that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Like we get it, you're a great singer and all that, but like where's the emotion?
Right.
So that modernizes things too.
Yeah. Paint the picture of the story you are telling. Exactly. And then Chris says, also Pat Pattison. Yeah. From Berkeley is great for the various types of rhyme and rhythm and prosody. Yeah, he's written a bunch of those Berkeley books.
Cool.
Super smart.
I'll have to check that. I have that book. I haven't the How to Write Better Songs.
Yeah.
Pat Patterson. My friend Claire is like, we always mess up his name. It's like Namerson.
Namerson. That's the guy.
Yeah.
That's the one. Cool.
Yeah. So it's so nice to know that my modernization, that it begins with lyric content and structure and rhythm. Like song phrasing, which goes along with the last thing that we just talked about of sing it like you would say it, is keeping phrases more conversational too. Keeping them like together. Don't split up weird words. Don't split up your phrase in a weird way. Like, I'm walking to the park tomorrow. You wouldn't say like, I'm walking to the park tomorrow. Like you would just make it breathe with the phrase that it is.
Yeah, that's interesting. I was also thinking about like even lyrically, sometimes we say things that aren't like, especially that aren't like grammatically correct, or that might not even make sense on paper, but when you say it, like I'm trying to think of an example, but like so I have a song called Tamagotchi, and there's a line in it that's like originally it was like, he won't return my texts, and I got the feedback of like, okay, that makes sense, but I wouldn't say that. He won't return my text. I'd say he's not texting me back. Oh, okay, I gotcha. Like, and with the music and the rhythm of it, like you were saying, it's not, he won't return my text. It was the original one. And there was a little pause in it. And I thought that was like a clever point of interest. But I ended up going, he's not texting me back. I'm just trying
and
to
that just gave me chills.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, wait, it's already 5:30, y'all.
Wow.
We're going to jabbering for 2 hours. We didn't even do the music things. We were just talking.
Yeah, I could probably jabber for 2 more hours on this stuff. It was awesome. Yeah. I heartily recommend if you are considering commercializing your music and commercializing your art, do check out Taxi. The conference is worthwhile.
The conference was really cool. Like I'm all about. That's the reason I moved to LA. Is like so that I can hop in on some of these gatherings, and I had a really good time.
Yeah. Me too. I'm so glad I came. Yeah. But I didn't just decide to chicken out. I was saying this last night. Like, before a big trip, I often am like, maybe I should just not go and stay with my pets and under my little hidey hole rock. But now I'm very glad that I decided to come.
Yeah. And then you fly back tomorrow.
I know. It's way too short. And yeah, I'll have to come back because this place has.
Please do, and I need to get to know.
Yeah, come on down. Yeah, I know. I'm interested in going to the Cutting Edge conference next year.
Ooh, okay.
Down in New Orleans. That's been going for like 30 years. So.
What time of year?
In the summer. It was in July. Yeah.
Will I survive a summer?
Yeah,
we have.
It's very hot.
I mean, we get some heat, but it's very dry heat.
The swamp.
This
is the swamp.
Will the mosquitoes eat me alive?
Possibly, but I always have lots of bug spray.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
You'll be fine.
Okay, it'll be fine.
Yeah,
I do love New Orleans. It's one of my favorite cities ever.
Yeah, but definitely, even if it's not for the conference, come on down.
Okay. Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for hanging out with us, everybody. We will continue this collab that we've got going on.
Yeah. Little Spiral and Protostyle.
Little Spiral and Protostyle. Because Mike Dupree, who knows his shit, and has worked with some folks. Some capital F folks. Yeah. Like, I was looking at his resume. I can't even, like... I was like, am I talking to you? And you worked with Kendrick Lamar and
they're all just people.
They're all just people. Yeah. So it was also very flattering. He was like, can you shoot me an email and in the subject line say, I'm the lady with the best voice ever.
He said this.
He said that. He gave me his email. So
that's wow.
I'm like, I'm also flattered, but I'm also like, okay, this is okay.
That's awesome.
I'll accept it. Cool. All right, so we'll be back. Thanks for hanging out. I still do Mondays, Fridays, 3:33, no matter what. And we'll figure out when we can get you back on.
Yeah, awesome. And I'll be live streaming on Wednesday.
Wednesday, what time?
At dinner time in the central United States. It'll be between probably like 5 and 7. I'm so sorry. I don't have this down to the minute. You're so smart.
I had to first because I just like repeating numbers, but second I'm like, if I put it 3:33, that means I actually have to be a little more punctual than I normally am. So yeah. Oh wait, Fire and Air, you both can present a show together.
I would love that. I mean, Big Fat Yacht. We got to tour that
yacht. We're gonna tour on a Big Fat Yacht.
Hell yeah, I love it.
All right, take care, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you later.
Bye, y'all.